You're listening to the Soju Sessions, episode 71 on the Soju Talk Nation podcast feed. I'm your host, Crispy, also known as Crispy Wonton or simply just Anton. And on today's show, Fangdbard returns to the show to discuss ITZY, CHECKMATE, an album discussion, a reflection on ITZY and what they have meant to us, and some life catch up. So, we get pretty in depth of talking about this wonderful 5-member girl group, the Middle Sisters of JYP now, with NYX coming up this year. And honestly, this was a great conversation. We get into why we love ITZY, why we think this album has done something that's very familiar to ITZY, to what ITZY sounds like, as well as bringing in some new flavor, some new spice, and we get into all those details, a lot of good stuff. Well, great life catch up as well. So look out for that at the end of the episode. All right, let's get into it. Coming up, my chat with Fangdbard on ITZY, CHECKMATE, an album discussion on the Soju Sessions. Returning to Soju Sessions this week, someone who is changing the minds, affecting the youth of the future in all positive directions. He is currently on summer break, so he's enjoying himself, leisurely lounging around, listening to K-pop, listening to ITZY 24/7. The one and only Fangdbard. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you so much for having me back. Yep, ITZY on 24/7. It don't stop.
Yeah, man. No, we are back here this week to talk about ITZY, CHECKMATE, a new mini album. It's been a minute since we got some new music from ITZY, but right in the middle of the summer season, summer releases. And I gotta say, I talked about this with Warren last week, that I think we are in kind of a golden era of K-pop, as far as K-pop girl groups, where there is just such variety in the type of sounds that we get with every comeback, with every group, right? I don't feel like there's any one specific trend or genre that's dominating the sound right now. And ITZY right here comes back with something that is very distinctly ITZY. Fangdbard, I kind of want to ask you, what is your ITZY origin story? When did you first start listening to them? How did you find them? And what made you fall in love with this group, this 5-member girl group from JYP, the middle sister of the girl groups that they got going on right now?
The first introduction I got to ITZY was during the Not Shy promotions. So I was browsing YouTube looking for more K-pop, and since my feed was mostly twice at the time, of course, other JYP entertainment artists would come up, and ITZY's Not Shy came up. So I watched it and thought the song was pretty catchy. So then I went backwards in their discography, and I realized, I was like, wow, I actually like this group. And I remember when I was like listening to Nothing But Twice, seeing ITZY's first like promotional, like the teasers about when they were about to debut, and I was like, oh, this is okay. But I guess I completely forgot and never tuned in when they actually debuted, so it took me a minute to find it.
Well, we're glad that you got here. You're here now, and I think that's the most important thing. Not Shy is a great era to come into as far as ITZY. I feel like that is kind of the first stop of kind of the ITZY journey, right? Where I feel like up until that point, a lot of those songs and sounds can very well be part of the same mix as far as the feel, the tone. I think Not Shy kind of pushed the envelope a little bit further than the other songs, in the sense that it was just so hectic and chaotic, but still very distinctly ITZY, to the point where I think it's one of the more unique songs that also continues and captures the ITZY spirit, right? So great spot to come into it. As you were going back into the discography, what stood out to you as far as what the group represented that really made you want to follow them and become a big fan?
Um, just see, listening to their songs and kind of looking up the lyrics. Sort of, I love the message they portray of just being who you are as yourself, not trying to conform to any sort of norm, just being who you are and accepting that and being okay, and which even helps my self-esteem out a lot. So I feel like their message is, in a sense, very, it can be targeted to anyone that listens. Just be comfortable with who you are, and you know, no one should be judged based on anything about them. And seeing their antics on everything else is kind of what drew me in as well. All the variety shows, just seeing them, it's hilarious and amazing.
Yeah, I do feel like their message and their style of music is very open, right? To boys, girls, men, and women, essentially people of all ages, in the sense that the messaging is very clear and it's very universal, right? It's all about confidence, being who you are, not apologizing for being a little bit different. It's different.
Right.
And kind of accepting that everyone is a little different. Everyone's a little bit off and odd, but it's kind of those unique qualities of everyone else and everyone that give color to the world. And I feel like a lot of that is represented within kind of the hectic nature of ITZY's music, how it is kind of all over the place in a lot of ways. I think in 2019, it was very much coined that they were the start of noise pop, noise music, which I do feel like is very indicative of that kind of 2-year run where that sound was very popular across K-pop, and they've kind of maintained it. Right now, I feel like it's evolved more into a very high energy, hectic EDM pop kind of sound, but I do feel like there's still a lot of that spirit within ITZY. For me, ITZY was kind of my introduction or my entry point. I think that's a better way to put it, into modern K-pop. Whatever you want to say about the generations, Gen 3, Gen 4, I would say 2018-19 is a very clear delineation line for K-pop, right? And I think ITZY is the start of that, in the sense that you have these young kids, so Yuna being 15 at the time, debuting, and then this is kind of the start of this generation of peers for a lot of K-pop girl groups, right? For me, this was my introduction into how K-pop had definitely changed over the past decade for me being a fan. So I started in 2012, kind of on and off, mainly following Big Bang in 21. A lot of recommendations from my friends throughout the decade, but it was in 2019 in the spring, right after Dalla Dalla, when I realized, like, okay, this group is really cool. They're doing some really interesting, different things. They're rookies, so they're definitely young, but I do feel like that was an inflection point as far as this is K-pop girl groups moving forward now, or like this is kind of the start of that. So they kind of hold a special place in my heart, in the sense that I found myself getting into K-pop the way that K-pop fans do, as far as like being online, being omnipresent, and following all the comebacks and all the content. And like you said, the variety shows and all the different appearances. It's just really fun to follow. So they do hold a very special place in my heart in that sense, where they kind of pulled me in to the internet world of K-pop at the late 2010s, right? So just great group, a lot of fun memories. And then, like you said, the message, right, where and they did talk about this during their comeback. There is a Billboard article out that they kind of describe their feelings about just being kids of the internet, being Gen Z, being exposed to the internet, understanding that there's going to be criticism, there's going to be levels of criticism that can be very harsh, but it's how you take it all in, and it's kind of how you maintain the message of what you want to do, whether that's music, whether that's dance, whether that's something creative or something that's public facing. So I think for them, they hold a lot of grace and a lot of poise, being very young people, and being 4 years in. They're not rookies anymore by any means, which is kind of crazy. So I'm just really happy that they've come full circle in a sense of returning to a little bit of an original sound, while kind of pushing forward with a little bit of a modern cleanup, kind of modern cleanliness, which is like, it's new, right? There's a little bit of newness to it, but still familiar. So
Right.
super happy about it. All right, let's get into the album. So we've
Okay.
got Checkmate. Um, it does kind of align with a lot of the concepting of ITZY from the very beginning, right? All about being queens, and confidence, and taking kind of control of your perspective of the world and how people, um, the effect of people that have on you, right? Because it's really up to how you decide to take in those messages. What are your first impressions of the album? And how does it feel having ITZY back after almost a year now? What's it, like 10 months? 11 months? 8 months? It's been a minute. So how are you feeling about Checkmate?
Yeah, it's great finally having some new music from them. And uh first impressions of the album, I personally really enjoy it. I have not skipped a single track when I'm listening. It's just turn it on and let it go. And uh it I definitely think it's still a return to their itsy sound, but I also think they're still keeping this new style that I see their B-sides taking on. In terms, I remember when, sort of similar to Guess Who, when that came out, their B-side sounded, I think, different than what they had put out before. So, but I enjoy that they're keeping their itsy sound, but they're experimenting. We're going in different directions, seeing what they can do.
Yeah, they're definitely taking a new spin on a lot of the traditional ITZY sounds. Kind of the effects. I keep wanting to say noise music. Noise music. That's the only way to kind of describe it. But kind of the trash can banging sound. It's done rhythmically, so it's not just like a trash sound.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a little bit of freshness to it in the sense that there's some hip hop, but not an overwhelming amount of hip hop. There's some trap, but not an overwhelming amount of trap, right? I would
Right.
even say that there's EDM elements to a lot of their songs in
Hmm.
this album that weren't there previously, but all again with the undertone of that very quirky sound that ITZY's known for. So I think you nailed it right on the head in the sense that there's a lot of ITZY's essence in this album that I feel like was missing in the past two albums, to be frank. I do think Loco did a nice job of starting that, kind of reminding us that ITZY had this in them as far as the character.
Yeah.
Their B sides definitely showed that on that album far more. But I think this right here is a kind of a complete package of, okay, this is very clear of ITZY's color. It's just they're doing something a little bit different with each song with a
Right.
very similar through line, right? Yeah, so let's get into each one of the songs because we got technically seven songs. We are just going to go over six. Track number 7 is Sneakers, the English version. Um,
Right.
we're just gonna go over six, guys. It's gonna just be
Yeah.
way easier that way. All right,
Exactly.
Fangdbard, let's start you off. So Sneakers, covered on the main show this week. A lot of good
Yes.
things said by the crew. What are your thoughts and feelings about the song, the music video, and how does it make you feel? Coming back with sneakers, putting your sneakers on with ITZY.
Definitely a very positive feeling because I know that from the teasers, a lot of people were really anxious and nervous of what was going on because they showed us the teaser images, and then the sounds like very different. But I enjoyed the track. Very uplifting. Again, we're in that itzy's in their comfort zone again. And I think I one of the comments from the show, I agreed with Doug saying that it's a palate cleanser. I sort of agree. Now, I am a fan of all of Itzy's music. Now, some don't like. I don't like more than others, but I agree how when they said they sort of deviated from that the typical ITZY sound and experimented away from it, but this is pure ITZY, and I agree that it was a palate cleanser back to their form. But I believe this track it is an earworm. I will say that it's very catchy, which I love it. I catch myself thinking, like, as I'm walking out the door in the morning, putting my shoes on, I instantly in my head put my sneakers on, and then I walk out the door.
Yeah, it. I mean, just putting on shoes, right? It's just something you do regularly. You don't think
Right.
about it. And now that there is a very specific hook, a very catchy noise in your head, just buzzing. A great noise, by the way, that I will never let go and just please stay here forever. Put my sneakers on. No, I echo everything you said about kind of Doug setting the table of it being a palate cleanser, kind of being a return to form for ITZY, right? Because I do think the past two releases were a venture off into something different with Mafia in the Morning, and then trying to come back a bit with Loco, with Crazy in Love, but still kind of being unsure, right, of if they should double down, triple down into old ITZY, and how can they spice things up with a little bit of new flair. To me, Sneakers is a +1 to Swipe.
Yeah.
I was just so well, first of all, Swipe is the B-side off of Crazy in Love from last year, and it was an incredible song. It was really kind of in your face, but also super fun, kind of playing with the idea of swiping left and right on your phone, whether that's on Instagram or TikTok, or for anyone who dares on Tinder or Hinge. Yes, it's very quirky in that sense, right? So that music video has so much character and energy into it, but it's doing something a little bit more subtle and much slower than what Loco did. I listened to both Sneaker and Swipe kind of back to back over the past 3 days. Oh my God, they work so well together as a 1-2 complement. They have a very similar rhythm. They have a very similar style of quirkiness and kind of the way that they kind of punch at the audience, all with confidence, right? Because even Swipe it's all about swiping left because I'm too good for you. Like, I'm good. So Sneaker is I'm good because I'm different, and you think I'm just gonna wear this dress, I'll wear these sneakers along with whatever this traditional outfit you feel like I should be wearing. So to me, I feel like Swipe was what this is just me projecting. I feel like Swipe could have definitely been the title track, but they want to test the waters, right? So they even made a B-side music video for it. And then they realized there was a lot of great response from the audience, from fans, and then they said, we'll just do that for Sneakers. And honestly, it's kind of good. It's kind of great. So I implore anyone who has not done this, please put Swipe and Sneakers on a playlist, just back to back. Listen to it for like 45 minutes. It's a jam.
I will do that tomorrow for sure.
It is a jam, I will tell you. Some of the elements from this song that I particularly love are kind of the variations and the combinations of singing. There's kind of a ping pong effect with the way that they hand off between different members. And Doug, I think it was Doug, said on the main show, the pre-chorus is kind of the strength of this song, right?
Right.
So this is kind of getting ahead, but in the album, I feel like there is a through line with the pre-chorus that they're using that as not only a way to sing and kind of stretch their vocals, but almost as a character through line, that they are a little quirky, they are a little offbeat, but that's, again, we're going to use this as a palette cleanser for each of the songs. Like, it's a little break point that allows the listeners to kind of take a break from all the weirdness and craziness, but also allows the members to flex in singing. So Leah, I definitely think she's leveled up as a singer. She's excellent in this song. She's excellent throughout the album, as well as the other members. The other members do contribute into the pre-chorus of all the songs on the album, and I feel like that's kind of the strength of all the songs. Mm-hmm. I hope it's intentional because, you know, they got a lot of money and they got a lot of smart people over there. But if it's not, and it's just the happenstance of just creativity, I'm here for that too. What did you think about the colors of this music video? It's very bright, but then also they've got a lot of different sets. And then how did you feel like the movement and choreography all complemented that?
Um, I enjoyed all three settings. I It was cool to see that royal concept come through really well, and then shifting. It's like it was basically time travel. Then we go to like a sort of the space center where they're in sort of military-ish uniforms, not distinctively military, but professional uniforms, into what is a new generation, like neon color palette, just new age uh clothing, and keeping that same message and seeing them change. It was pretty cool. And yeah, the choreo is amazing. I believe it fits each part so well.
Absolutely. Yeah. The kick, that's all you need. It was like perfect, right? The little like short kick and just, yeah, God, it's so catchy. It's right there. Like I can see it every time.
Yeah.
No, I love what you said about the time travel. I too got that same feeling, right?
Yeah.
In a vacuum, yes, I can see how they're disjointed if you're not really like trying to weave a story together. But in essence, it's girls out of time, right? It's how are women represented at these different eras in history? So the Victorian royal era, of course, they were asked to be royalty, asked to be just to look pretty, just to show up and, be present. Well, screw that. We're going to put some sneakers on and dance all up in your royal gala, which again, it's just adds to the quirkiness and weirdness of what ITZY is representing, right? Just to be confident in what you have.
Right.
Same with the space race and just the space station mission control. During that era, in the 60s, 70s, women were definitely looked at differently. Not encouraged to pursue math, science, and technology as far as professions. So just being there is a big boon to them, right?
And seeing them in control, like if you in the music video, they're the bosses. They're telling all these, and technically, I believe all the people at the desk were male. So it was like reverse role swap. See them, they're telling them what to do, and I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, definitely an intention in that setting, right? Where, like you said, in a room full of men, it's the women that are in control and moving things along. And then we get into the modern day, which, okay, this one I don't really think I can like draw a line to, but it just feels like they jump forward to the future. Everything's neon, everything's goofy, crazy, and they're in a sneaker store. And honestly, I'm good with that. It's fine. Give me the huge sneaker on top of the building, being out in Kwangya. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it's fine. They can hang out with Espa. They are actually friends, so good.
Boom.
Right. Yeah, just an incredible package. It does feel like so the song isn't short. It's not a long song, but it's not short.
Right.
It's 2 minutes 59 seconds, which music video wise, it's around 3 minutes and change.
Yeah.
But it does move rather quickly. So I like that it's not long, definitely. It's probably, if you could, I would believe you if you said it was short, but then the music video moves it along well, where it just feels like it's a very intentional paced music video and song, right? So good stuff. I loved it overall. Anything else about the song and music video for Sneakers?
I've had this idea since a couple days ago. This will be played every day before recess. I'm gonna annoy my students whether they love it or not. It's gonna happen.
Okay, first of all, I love that. That's freaking amazing. And also that I feel like is the strength of what ITZY represents and K-pop, right? Because it is supposed to be general audience friendly. It is supposed to be kids friendly. I think Nina did make a joke and kind of post the English version of this in the Soju Talk channel, which I get. We're adults. It's supposed to be a little ridiculous for us, but to be honest, like I'm okay with it being a little kids boppy, a little Nickelodeon-y, because it's intentional, right? It's supposed to be a little weird and quirky, and they are not old people. I mean, they're early 20s. I think just turned 19. So I mean, it's totally fine. And good on you, teacher, for exposing and bringing that into your classroom. Feel free to leave the Korean one in the player so that they can learn some Korean. As you can see, I'm an old person. I was about to say tape player. Gosh. Okay. We are here, guys. All right, we're gonna move on now to track number 2, Racer. All right, sir, Fangdbard. What are your thoughts and feelings about this little bit of a bass heavy song? Kind of race car, racetrack effects. How did this one hit you?
This would actually this is actually my favorite B-side because just seeing them also experiment with different vocal tones. So like multiple members trying out like a vocal fry, a low vocal fry effect. Pretty cool. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It is more on the electronic side. I personally like that. Um, that's the that song. As soon as it came on, instantly got my head bobbing. I was jamming the entire time. So this is definitely my favorite B side.
If there's one phrase to describe the song, someone who's just curious but who doesn't exactly want to listen to it yet, vocal fry. That vocal fry is insane. It's just like, wow, you are definitely leaning into it. Each member, I think it's Ryujin and Chaeryeong have a vocal fry. I think Yeji also. My
Yeah,
God, my God, it's so much
caught me off.
attitude, right?
Yeah, it caught me off guard. The first time I heard the song, I was like, "What? Oh, wow!"
Yeah, they definitely want to let you know that they've got a lot of attitude and are a little bit edgy on this one. It is very epic with the drums. For me, I get a lot of sense and tone of arena music, arena rave music,
Yeah,
in the trap world. So a lot of that with some rock elements. There are some instruments that are more evocative of rock music, but it's a very big arena music, right? Definitely stuff you can hear at raves. And I kind of love that Leah has a great belting moment in the bridge, which is not something I feel like I've heard from her. So again, she's definitely stretching as a vocalist, getting older and like actually developing. Like your vocal cords will develop over time, right? So I feel like she's just now tapping into that, and it's very exciting to see where she'll go from here as far as developing that range. So yeah, man, this one caught me off guard, but I kind of love it too. I have my favorite. We'll get there, but I'm glad that this one got you right away and said yes, we're gonna be here. Anything else you want to say about the song?
Um. Also, I feel that even from sneakers to racer, each member is getting their. I feel like each member is getting their own moment to shine. No one's getting left out of a track. I feel like there's like more even distribution than previous songs.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It does feel like this entire album is fairly balanced,
Yes.
right? With the members' contributions, the members singing and rapping. There's a lot of very clean handoffs where you don't really know who it is that's rapping or singing at certain times. And I feel like that's all indicative of the fact that it doesn't feel like any one member is the character of the song or the album, right? I think in the past, definitely Yuna has had a lot of that, especially in ICY. I can definitely just hear her a lot in it. But no, I think that's a really good point that you make about great balance for this song and the rest of the album.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into track number 3, What I Want. So this is a spiritual successor to Not Shy for me. This is the same type of frantic energy that just keeps going. I don't really know where it's going. I'm just gonna try to follow it and hang on for dear life. How did you feel about this song being track number 3, following up Racer, which is a little bit of a slower song, where now you would think this is Racer is the fast song, but What I Want is the fast one. It's like, wow, we are just going into the race car and driving really fast.
Yeah, the song definitely upped it sped the tempo. So like I was kind of sort of laid back, vibing the racer, and then this comes on. I'm like, okay, all right, we gotta shift now. Uh, I enjoyed the this track too. I mean, definitely sort of a we're almost getting to like a speed rap into this track. Like the lyrics are very quick, and even if it's just repeating the phrase "what I want," it's definitely uh, a it's definitely a difference from what Sneakers and Racer was. It's like this one kind of caught me off guard too because it just sounds different, and the sort of the drums and all too in this track.
Yeah, it just keeps going, just
Yeah,
nonstop, right?
yeah,
I think this is the song that definitely benefits the most, I guess, is a good way to put it, for the pre-chorus vocal sections, where
yes,
without those, your heart's going to explode. My heart's going. I'm an old man, or I a heart attack. But those pre-chorus vocal sections, Leah, amazing. I think she does a really nice job of pausing the song, but not losing momentum, right? Especially with just the way that her sound is very clean in the song. And I love that. Again, I feel like this is kind of something new with ITZY songs that I don't think I've heard in the past, where they are playing around a lot of the patterning of where the members are inserting themselves in the song, while also maintaining a very clear character of the song, right? What I want is just it's the fast paced, crazy song on the album, but I do feel like there are enough breakpoints in the song where I'm very much engaged and still enjoying all the different moments, right? So, yeah, no, just really interesting song, but I think they pulled it off really well. If what the if they pulled it off really well, let's put it that way. Because I keep wanting to talk more about the vocals, but I'm really just going to repeat myself, which is how good I feel like those were incorporated.
it is like this album. Leah has like her vocals have like matured so well, and she's getting to become a very powerful singer.
Yeah, absolutely. That to me is a great sign that the creative team is allowing her to stretch it in that sense, because I think I don't feel like I'm speaking too out of turn here. That Leah did kind of feel like the left behind member of ITZY. Because for the most part, their music, it's very structured. It's very clear the character of ITZY's music, but it didn't necessarily require that Leah was this amazing vocalist, because the performance aspect was the strength of ITZY, right?
Right.
So those are just the
Yes.
things that you always remember. Say what you will about Mafia in the Morning, visually they still perform the heck out of that song, and
Yeah.
then go backwards into Not Shy, where it's this turned to a thousand, and then Want to Be Right Before, Shoulders, Ryujin, Your Shoulders will forever be the mainstay of that song. So I mean, I can go back, right, where it's all about the performance, where now it kind of feels like you said, they're growing up, they're maturing into more musical elements that really get to shine, showcase Leah as a singer here. So yeah, great. This is a great song if you want to hear a contrast in styles while also maintaining a very specific character. All right, let's get into the next track with Free Fall. This is where for me the album now kind of takes hold of a character, where they
Yeah.
are leaning into a little bit of hip hop, a lot of bit of trap, but then still retaining the quirkiness, the weirdness of ITZY. What did you think about this song, Free Fall?
Um, I also really enjoyed this one. Uh, Again, pre-chorus setup, phenomenal. Just it ramps it up. But my favorite part in that I always sing along with is "we." I love it. It's that part took me out. I was like, yes, this it's something quirky, it's hilarious, but again, it still highlights really good like rap style. We get we get some of this short rhythmic rapping. Something's instead of just or the rap sort of becomes the beat in a sense. very a lot more rhythmic, but that on and then the pre-chorus to ramp it up even further, and it's like, dear God, like each song is just getting better.
Yeah, no, the "We Free Fallen" is very much an earworm memorable moment. Maybe not an earworm because it doesn't like repeat itself, but it's incredibly memorable, right?
Yeah,
It does kind of fall into one of the tropes that Warren doesn't particularly like, or at least doesn't like when it's done poorly. Warren, come on the show and tell me, was this done well? Because this anti-drop actually worked super well for me. Because the idea of free fall is that they're in outer space, or they're in the cosmos, or they're traveling. They talk about the Milky Way, space travel, and they're free falling. But they're free falling because they're trying to go and explore into different directions away from whatever it is that's holding them down, right? So I feel like thematically it fits. The anti-drop definitely fits because it's the vacuum of space, right? So I feel like I was putting together those threads, pulling those strings together. I'm mixing up my metaphors, but I do feel like there is a nice purpose to that anti-drop in the chorus. And then, like you said, the pre-chorus, all the vocals are really, really just clean in the song. What this song makes me feel and reminds me, I hope it's not a hot take. I don't think it's a hot take. I think it's just a comparison. I think it sounds like Red Velvet. I think they do a really nice job harmonizing in a way that I've never heard them harmonize before, while also doing the really dark, heavier Red Velvety stuff that they've done with their Red concepts,
yeah,
while also like being very characteristically a singing song, right? Even though there are some rap sections, like you said, that are like adding to the rhythm of the song, I do feel like it's the lightness of the singing and the harmonizing that give, uh, sorry for the pun, air to the song, even though they're in outer space. Yes, I got there, guys. We got there. Um,
yeah,
I really like this song. Not my favorite song, but I really like this song. I think this is the one that really changed my perspective that ITZY could do a little bit more by pulling on inspirations from other K-pop groups, specifically Red Velvet. But this is still very much an ITZY song. Like, I would never say this is a Red Velvet song or Red Velvet could do this song,
right,
specifically because of the rap and the trap and the kind of the bounce of the song. But
yeah,
that harmonizing is so Red Velvet. I'm just like, wow, they really, really captured at least that essence of the weird quirkiness of what Red Velvet has done in the past, but now incorporated it into ITZY, which is magnificent for me. I'm a fan. I love this one. So yeah.
same here.
All right. Let's move on now to the next track. 365. Okay, I will spoil it, guys. Yes, this is my favorite song. This is a grimy trap song. This is a basement club, 4 a.m. Just what
Oh yeah,
in your face? I gotta do a little music history lesson as far as raves and stuff. So the musician, this producer is still out there. His name's RL Grime, one of my favorite trap DJs of the 2010s. Been to many raves where he headlined, and this definitely has that sense of trap music where it is just extremely grimy. But there is a melodic nature to this song that is very characteristic of RL Grimes. So if you guys are curious, he's all over Spotify. He's still doing music. Less DJ sets, I guess, are available now than they were in the past. Shout out to Mega Upload and downloading those DJ sets. But yeah, it just, if you kind of want to blast from the past and where I feel like the influence of this song came from, check out RL Grime, because it's, to me, I immediately draw to that. What are your thoughts about this being an incredibly grimy song and Ryujin? I feel like she's the character of this one.
yeah. I agree. This is definitely like, we slow the tempo back down, and we just bounce, and I love it. Yeah, and I definitely love Ryujin taking over here. Like, she just goes as a lyricist, she just pops off. It's just amazing, and and I like how, in a sense, it is a, at the point of the in within the album, it's a stark contrast. So you get sort of like this airy free fall, or let's say what I want, super fast pace, sort of build your adrenaline a bit, free fall, kind of airy, and then we get to 365 and we're vibing.
Yeah, just it does feel like it's a different genre than the rest of the album,
Yeah.
but I do feel like they have maintained enough of the character of ITZY here. A lot of
Oh
that
yeah.
has to do with the cadence of the way that they sing and rap in the song, and even the lyrics. Right? There's enough English in the song where I could definitely parse out kind of the meaning of it. And yes, it's essentially breaking up with someone, or at least someone who no longer is a requirement in your life.
Yeah.
That you are not thinking about them 365. That you are self-empowered. You're moving forward. You have self-validation. You don't need anyone to validate you. Again, plays right into the character, the concept, the theme of ITZY in this moment in Checkmate, right? So
Right.
I feel like it all plays in super well. We gotta talk about the pre-chorus. So this is Leah and Yeji as a blend. So if you guys want to follow along, there are plenty of lyric videos that have the parts separated. This one specifically, I watched and listened to several times because I really just wanted to see where they came in together. And it's definitely the pre-chorus where Yeji almost gets to a point where she sounds like Leah. And I'm like, whoa, my
Yes.
favorite member in ITZY can now do everything. And it's like, great, great, everyone. She can just take over the world now. Perfect. What did you think about Yeji kind of evolving in this album? Where, for the most part, historically, she's been the face, kind of along with Yuna and Ryujin, but not necessarily known as a singer or anything more than the rapper, one of the rappers. How do you feel like she was incorporated in this song?
Um, she's definitely flexing her talents, what she can do, because there's been tracks, of course, like she has a beautiful singing voice. She can throw down lyrics in a rap if she needs to, but this song proves she's called JYP's secret weapon for a reason. She like there's nothing that's gonna there's nothing she can't do. She oh and she is my favorite member too, because like, oh my god.
Yes, yes, we share this in common, sir. This is good news. This is great news. I am happy to hear that. Yeah, G, she is amazing. She is phenomenal. I think this song definitely suits her in a different way because I feel like you would expect her and Ryujin to just get all the rapping parts of the song. Definitely
Right.
Yuna's involved in the song. Definitely Yuna has a very characteristic voice that you can pinpoint as soon as you
Oh,
hear her.
really?
But I think what they did instead is they flipped Yeji and Chaeryeong and had Chaeryeong do a lot of rapping, at
Yeah.
least sing rapping, right? And I was just like, oh, okay, this is her lane. This kind of works.
Right.
Because throughout the album, like Chaeryeong definitely has had a little bit of the spotlight with singing, but they do a nice little blend of sing rapping here. It's like, okay, it fits in the genre of this
Yeah.
song, perfect, and it changes up the expectation that it's not just Yeji, right? So, just all man, this song is it's probably a bit aggressive for a lot of people. I think if you're not used to this sound, if you haven't grown up listening to Arlo Grime, yes, I am a degenerate. Then this is kind of new to you. Give it a listen. Give it a listen on its own for a while, right? And just kind of let it sit and kind of just hear how the members are playing around in the song because I do feel like it is one of their better songs that fall into a really grimy genre of trap music that I would not have expected them to do. I think they were trending in that direction. I know that there was some comparisons to them being potentially like JYP's NCT in that sense, in that type of hip hop sound.
Right.
But this is a little bit more than that. I would say a little bit more, while also retaining the ITZY character in color, right? So
Yes, definitely.
yeah,
And
but
I think that uh yeah, the first time I heard that with the part with Yeji and Leah, like I knew I heard Leah, but I was like, wait, who is like harmonizing with her? I was like, that's not, because I immediately just think, oh, they'll get like uh Cherry Young or something, or to do it. And then I was like, no, that's not her. And I was like, wait, is that Yeji? Oh my god.
Yeah, and that's the lesson for all of us, that Yeji will floor you regardless if you want it, regardless if you're expecting it. She is just there to do her best to make you feel like you are dead. Hi.
Yeah.
We have died. All right. Let's move on now to track number 6, our last song that we're going to be talking about. It is the penultimate song, but essentially it's the last song. Domino, alternative rock with a little bit of pop, a little pop rock. I'm just saying stuff now. How did you feel about this song being a complete genre shift from the rest of the album? I like that this is the last song, essentially. But what are your thoughts about this being a little bit different from the rest of the album?
I think it's in that perfect spot. So you've had these sort of electronic, more rap trap songs where this is more of just a laid back, like just uh more of just a slow track to just sort of, I don't know how to describe it. Like the other songs, you could definitely just like sort of like bob and like vibe. This is just laid back, and you're there. Just all their vocals in this track specifically are amazing.
Yeah, it's the end of the concert song. It's the encore song, right? The confetti is all over the stage already, so they're just swimming in it, but they're not really doing anything too structured. They're singing to the crowd. They're playing all the different corners of the stadium, and it's a very hopeful song, right? The idea of a domino being things that fall down in sequence. When they kind of use that metaphor and saying, we are the dominoes, we're going to hold each other up. We're not going to fall down because I'm not going to let you fall down. I think that's very sweet and heartwarming, right? I think it definitely plays into this idea of singing to the fans that have supported them for so long. That's what we love about K-pop, right? It's very much an acknowledgement that we also exist, that we are definitely here along for the journey as well. In the interview from Billboard, Leah talks about that. Leah and Chaeryeong say that this is their favorite song on the album because it does not only talk about their relationship to each other, that they've grown over the past 4 years after debut, and even well before that, and the strength of their relationship to get through a lot of the challenges it takes just being a young, impressionable person on the internet, but also the fans who've supported them kind of in the face of the things that you would see on the internet, whether it's criticism, negativity, or just kind of the harshness of reality. So I think it's just a very heartwarming way to end the album. How do you feel about just like alternative rock songs in general? And how do you feel like ITZY executed on the song?
Oh, I love alt rock. I listen to rock music basically every day. So I go from like hard rock, classic rock, alternative. But they executed it pretty well because it's just it like to me it's just a track that you don't necessarily have to listen to the lyrics. You can just listen to the instrumentals and the vocals, and it's perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion just in the instrumental, like you said. And yeah, it is kind of the universal wonderment of a K-pop, right? Where, I mean, it's from Korea. A lot of the listeners, specifically outside of Korea, don't understand Korean, but there is something that we can all connect to as far as the people who sing it, the accessibility that they allow us into their lives, into the journey, and then kind of the shared experience of it all, right? Kind of a bigger picture question. Oh, well, one quick thing about the song. I will say, just to kind of point it out, it's very small, but Yeji does this thing with her voice, kind of raspy. kind of fits in the soft rock, alt rock sound. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, what is happening? What am I doing? I love you. Please marry me. Someone stop me. But probably won't happen because I am nothing. Um, no. But yes, the edgy again. I just is my favorite member. I mean, if for everyone who's listening who knows me as an ITZY fan, my God, it's just I'm actually doing a really good job restraining myself and just like trying to be really balanced and talk about all the members. If I could, this would just be like 2 hours of Yeji talk, which is definitely a thing. If you like to return for a part 2 of this discussion,
let's do it.
Yeah.
SojuSessions, Yeji.
Yeah, Yeji talk. Gosh, kind of a bigger picture question, and kind of the spirit and the message of this song. How have you felt connected with ITZY, with K-pop over the past 2 years? They've had a pretty regular release schedule, but what is it about their connection to their fans that have helped you during any down points in the pandemic, specifically, having to teach online for like a good year and a half? Can I go into that? And what were some of the challenges that you definitely can reflect on and say, thanks, K-pop, you were there for me?
Definitely when we returned from online, it was pretty rough with teaching because like a lot of the students kind of like forgot certain social skills. So like environments and behaviors were a little bit rough, but definitely, especially like ITZY's music about like being yourself. Like sometimes I like would doubt myself as a teacher. Like it's like, am I really a good teacher? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And it's like listening to their music just it helps bring my mind back to where it helps ground me. Like, no, you're fine. You're doing good. Don't stress. And not only that, like K-pop in general, it's a lot of it for me is feel good music, whether it's slower songs to just sort of relax to, or other songs that are just to jam to. Uh, Definitely, it lifts my spirit up. It gets me out of that funk.
Is there a
Uh,
message from K-pop, whether it's, like you said, like the positivity and confidence of ITZY, whether it's kind of the wholesomeness of Twice, that you've shared with your students? Maybe indirectly, right? Maybe it was just something that was ingrained into your mind and you just happened to, share, project forward into a positive way with your students. Was there any moment like that for you over the past year?
um, Definitely, I try to share the message of, I mean, still the message of ITZY is be who you are, because I mean, I've had students come to me and they're like, I'm not very, confident or with any sort of skill or anything, and then it's just about, I'm gonna boost their confidence now because it's like, no, you are really good at this. Like, don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something. So I try to make sure I instill that every year, every time.
It's amazing. No, I do feel like, in the classroom specifically, very important, right? But it's
Yes.
something that we can all kind of use in our daily lives. I don't think it hurts to kind of have a more, um, forward thinking, proactive way that we speak about people, right? As opposed to talking about things from a point of deficit. You
Right.
want to talk about things at a point of excess, or what's the other word? What's the opposite of deficit? I know economics, I swear. Surplus.
There we go.
Right? Where it's a whole half glass full thing, right? I mean, it's very easy to think about things with a half glass empty and kind of say what you don't like about things or what things should be improved from your point of view. But sometimes it's good to just celebrate what already exists, whether that's a student in your class or someone you meet in the real world, or just, friends that you communicate with online all the time. And I feel like that's something all just make people feel better. It's good. It's a good thing. Thanks, Itzy. You're great.
Oh, yeah, I have a friend that he really wants to get into voice acting, and like he keeps applying to Funimation, and he's like, man, like I've been applying to like every opening. He's like I think they're like probably aggravated with me. I'm like, no, dude, keep going. Don't give up on that.
Yeah.
You keep pushing.
Yeah, because that's a great example too. Because in all of your attempts, those are also, in a lot of ways, forms of practice. And I know Malcolm Gladwell is omnipresent. Everyone kind of knows him. And Outliers, the fact that you just need your hours, whether that's 10,000 hours, whether that's 5,000 hours, whether that's 2 hours, right? You just need to continue gaining that practice and mastery of whatever it is you want to do. Whether that's being a voice actor, whether that's being a teacher, whether that's simply just being a better communicator and a more positive person in the real world. I think all of that just requires practice. And you're going to fail, but failure isn't a bad thing. It just means you have an opportunity to do better next time. So,
right.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we kind of flipped that into a very ITZY minded positive spin to kind of round out the end of the album, and Domino too, just being a very uplifting song. All right, Fangdbard, sir, moving into closing thoughts.
Okay.
How's life? How's everything? How's summer? Being away from the classroom, and what have you done to kind of enjoy your time to recharge over the summer?
It's been pretty good. I've done a lot of relaxing, catching up on shows, watching movies I maybe didn't get a chance to watch, reading more manga, um, still jamming to K-pop every day. Just it's a daily routine. Um, just enjoying my time away while also sort of thinking about next year, what I'm going to implement. Like I said, I thought like before we go to recess and lunch, I'm playing sneakers, so they will also experience ITZY. So, finally trying to get out there to more concerts, and August 1st, my first ever K-pop concert, I'm going to see (G)I-DLE in Houston.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's gonna be an experience.
Oh yeah, and then I am for sure going to get tickets for ITZY in November. They'll be in Sugarland, which is not too far, so I will be taking a trip down there for sure.
Nice, man. Let's go backwards. So definitely ITZY. Let us know how that goes. The K concert channel, great addition. Thank you, Doug. Really amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's done a really nice job, at least to focus the conversation, but then also for people to group up to buy tickets. I think we've already started to see the fruits of that. So great work, everyone, collaborating on getting tickets. (G)I-DLE, yeah, they're in their phase, the rebellious phase. Is that what we want to call it? Do we want to keep it PG? Do we want to keep it minimal clothing, dancing provocatively?
That show's gonna be something. I'm already like
they're on one. I freaking love it. Keep it up. Power to you. It's just,
I am prepared to be left speechless.
Dude, feeling it right now. Yeah, shout out to you for going. Good job, man. That's like 2 weeks from now, right? Jeez.
Yep. Oh, I'm hyped.
And then things that you're watching. Anything that stand out? Because I'm sure you've watched like a ton, right? Which is all your free time. Anything that you've particularly loved, whether it's a show, movie, or anime?
Stranger Things season 4, pretty solid. I enjoyed it.
Nice. I am taking a very, very slow approach to Stranger Things.
Yeah.
When did it come out? When did the first part of season 4 come out? Over a month ago now?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, and I am on episode 5.
Yeah, those last two are like near movie length.
Yeah, but I enjoy the fact that I'm taking it slow. That I'm not watching 5 episodes in a day. One, because I don't know if I can. Just, but and two, I actually like being able to sit with what happens at the end of an episode for a day to even a week. I think I've taken a break for a week. It really made, so I'm only episode 5. So let's talk about it from that point. My aha moment with the season that really kind of showed me that it's incredibly thoughtful and very well written is episode 4, where Max gets attacked by Vecna and they figure it out, right?
Right.
Throughout the entire episode, there's a lot of imagery of what she's going through, and you're kind of piecing together why these people are dying, right? And to me, that was the episode where I found kind of the thesis of the show, the central thesis, and it was this idea of how do you continue living when you've been through the worst?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you cope with trauma and not let it consume you?
Right.
We don't know the full story of Fred and Chrissy.
Correct.
So we don't know why that they were so easily consumed by Vecna, but we do know that they've gone through a lot, right? Chrissy, did succumb to needing drugs to kind of push away a lot of the things that were going on in her life. So it made her susceptible to Vecna, right? Fred, that's an incredibly traumatic experience, seeing a car flipped over, burning fire, and then someone kind of crawling out of it. Perhaps he let him die. Perhaps that there's something a little bit more nefarious to that moment. But that is something definitely that could weigh on someone, that make them vulnerable to wanting to fall into kind of the darkness.
Right.
And all of that to me is very much in parallel to Max's story, where she's pushing away all the people that loved her. Right?
Yep.
Losing your brother in front of you, Billy, is 100% very traumatic. But the fact that she blames herself throughout the season, and you can kind of feel the weight in the fact that she, is no longer in a relationship. She pushes away her friends. She doesn't want to hang out. And all of that kind of comes to a head when she realizes that she needs to run up a hill, very metaphorically and literally, to get back to the people that love her. And I feel like that right there was the central thesis. And that was very powerful for me. I'm so sorry that I took over your Stranger Things, but just that for me right there was the one where it's okay, yeah, this show, I understand it. I understand why everyone loves it. So,
right.
Yeah.
And the whole thing of her, so, when she gets, you've seen where she's at Billy's grave, right? And then, yeah. So it's the fact of, again, using music as almost an escape method, because it's all about putting on her favorite song and she gets out of this. Technically could go back to K-pop in a sense. I mean, it's good music to listen to, and let's say if you're just having a really down time, it could pick you up, just like ITZY can. Yeah.
Great callback. Yeah, no. It's really two sides of it, right? Where you can, music or just anything that's a distraction or anything that exists isn't inherently good or bad, right? If it's not attached to a person, right? So, it's there's no morality to something like music in the sense that you can use it to escape, but then are you using it to close yourself off from people that love you, or are you using it to connect with people, to allow them to be part of your life, to allow them to understand you? And in a way, Lucas understood her because of music, right? It was his way back into her life, and it brought her back. I'm getting emotional. Gosh, this show, man. Okay, well, we're gonna end it there. Also, it's gonna turn into Stranger Things 4 talk. So, no, incredible show. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Yeah, that's my summertime. A lot of working as well. Work is a thing, but I'm happy to do the work. So then moments like this and just chatting with you and just hanging out and listening to K-pop are more meaningful. I think I've come to that point in my life where work doesn't stress me out, even though it does get stressful. You know, it's okay to accept that, but it doesn't consume me. So
Yeah.
yeah, right. And I'm able to really enjoy moments outside of work, and even bring work, or bring moments of my real life into work. So I'll definitely talk to coworkers about K-pop. Let's just put it there.
Hey,
Leave it there. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. Any closing thoughts that you have for the Soju Talk Nation? Yeah, we'll definitely have you back. I will ask you back. No problem, sir. But any words of wisdom you'd like to leave everyone?
um, uh, I guess one of my favorite quotes from Critical Role, uh, that the great Matt Mercer always says, "Don't forget to love each other no matter what." So, uh, and I love seeing all the like interactions in the Discord. Just everyone's so nice and just very thoughtful. And I love the constructive talks too, not just you like even if you might not agree or like something that someone else has, you can still have a conversation about it and be like, there's no animosity there. Everyone's just having a conversation, sort of analyzing different things. I love it. That's what it's all about.
Amazing. Yeah, just a great end cap to what turned out to be an incredibly like uplifting conversation about ITZY, which is what they're all about, right? So
Oh,
no, I thank you so much for joining and for imparting that very very wonderful message. I feel very just happy and overwhelmed right now in so many good ways. Yeah, Fangdbard, thank you so much. This is so great. Yeah, I'm so glad that we got to hang out. So we'll do this again for sure.
yes, for sure. Thank you for the invite. I love it. I look forward to it.
Yeah, man, of course. All right, let's sign out. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Soju Sessions on the Soju Talk Nation podcast feed. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and continue the conversation on the Soju Talk K-pop podcast Discord. For Fangdbard, I'm Crispy, and this has been the Soju Sessions.